All right, Martin Popoff here with a new edition, new episode of our Who Invented Heavy Metal series. We are moving into 1971 here. I know we may go back and look at some 70s albums that I've skipped along the way that are a little more minor. Maybe something like an Atomic Rooster. I don't know what else we'll put in there. But in 1971, I wanted to move forward with these bands that we absolutely credit with the invention of heavy metal. So we have done an episode on Master of Reality. So that would be our third Black Sabbath album we've talked about. But Deep Purple super important because In Rock is a massive, massive album in the invention of heavy metal in middle of 1970, something like that. Is it middle late? I can't remember. But anyways, the next album, fifth Deep Purple album, fifth studio album, they call it, because there is that crappy Rod Evans, Nick Simper version of the band, which is more like a psych band, kind of just annoying music, right? With that whole kind of vanilla fudge sort of thing. I mean, there are elements of the invention of heavy metal. We didn't cover any of those albums. There are elements of the invention of heavy metal in the heaviness that John Lord is applying to things in that Mark One, and then Richie Blackmore. You can't help it. I mean, there's going to be some heavy guitar here and there, kind of thing, and spirited drumming and all that stuff. But there's a lot of covers and things. It's very dated sounding. So I didn't grace our fine listeners with the presence of any of that Mark One stuff, and certainly not the classical album. So today I wanted to talk about Fireball. So Fireball comes out in the US July 71, but in the UK September 71. They're recording at Delane Lee and Olympic. So like I say, it's their fifth album. And when I did my book, Who Invented Heavy Metal, I took it up to 1971 because I wanted to show how Black Sabbath went so much heavier than Deep Purple, because Deep Purple kind of in total kind of lightens up a little bit. It's not as forcefully inventive of a new heavy metal sound as you got on In Rock, the debut of the Mark II era, right? So we've got Ian Gillan and Roger Glover joining the band. Like I say, there's the classical album in there as well. But so the album kicks off with Fireball. This is very important. This is actually the most important song on here in terms of heavy metal evolution, because you've got this double bass drum speed metal wall of sound sort of thing. It's a precursor. It's an early days thrash song. Lars Ulrich loves his Deep Purple, and this is a big reason why. But yeah, this is kind of I would say a more extreme song than anything you get on In Rock. So that's kind of a cool thing about it. No. They're already starting to kind of add some texture and personality and thoughtfulness to this exciting sound they invented on In Rock. So it's heavy, but it's a little like I say, textured 70s, a little psychedelic maybe. On the US copy of this album, so mine is a US copy. There's what your gatefold looks like in it, right? The next track is Strange Kind of Woman. Now, this was a single in the UK. In the UK, you've got Demon's Eye instead of Strange Kind of Woman. So there's this little swap going on. And the odd thing about both these songs, I don't like either of them particularly much. They sound like they've got one foot in the British blues boom still. And Strange Kind of Woman's got a little bit of that kind of stripper's pole cheesiness to it. That whole thing. I'm not crazy about it, right? But yeah, it does feel like it's got a little bit of blues. So it's a heavy song. I don't like shuffles either. It's got a little bit of a shuffle pulse to it. Demon's Eye also feels like it's got one foot in heavy blues boom stuff, right? So I'm not crazy about that one either. Then we've got Anyone's Daughter, which is kind of like a jokey country tune. It's kind of like a novelty song, and it's probably starting to cause some contention in the band. This version of the band isn't going to last very long. It's Ian Gillan and his sense of humor. And it's completely a mellow song, kind of a weird throwaway song. And it would be fine. It is fine. I mean, I kind of like it. But this is an album that only has 7 songs on it. But to sort of have one of those, maybe on a 9-track album, it would have been better to have here rather than a 7-track album. But side 2, you've got 2 songs that I always kind of put together: The Mule and Fools. They remind me a little bit of No No No, actually. They are a little contemplative and jammy and but heavy still at the same time. And but definitely a little more unwound, casual, let's do what we want, jammy, psychedelic, druggy, than what you got on In Rock, which was more pow 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 kind of thing. And then you've got No One Came to close out the album, and I love this song. This is an absolute heavy metal classic. It's probably my favorite song. It is my favorite song in the album. I like it more than Fireball. And it's got that really stunned, distorted bass thing, and then the off kilter beat when it comes in. The beat kind of switches around a little bit. Really groovy. I think it shows a lot of personality. That's the thing with Fireball. I think you are getting more personality than you got on In Rock. In Rock is more exciting and event filled, action packed. But you've got a lot more dynamics, peaks and valleys all over this album. Yeah, they're definitely a lot of quiet, a lot of loud, and No One Came is actually feels like it has a better, slightly different arrangement than you've got on In Rock. So there's an uptick in sophistication here as well. You got Fireball kicking off with that whole air conditioning heating unit sound and all that, which is really cool. So there you go. Who invented heavy metal? Well, Deep Purple has a big hand in it, and they kind of continue with this, but they do spend a fair bit of time not being a particularly heavy metal band on this album, but I still love it. One more thing I'll say, the production I don't think is a big improvement over In Rock. It's still kind of boxy and cardboardy, a little bit humorless, a little bit clanky, a little bit old, a little bit 70s, or I mean early 70s, almost late 60s sounding. So the production isn't particularly great on it, but yeah, loads of personality out of the guys on this record. Very cool album. That has been another Who Invented Heavy Metal. Go listen to all our past episodes. We're up to 10 or so at this point. And we've even got 2 that are not album related. They're all little bits and pieces. So if you want to start at the beginning, go listen to those ones first. We start in like 5,000 BC or something like that. And we move forward through the blues and jazz and 1700s and classical and all that stuff. So there are those 2 episodes, and then we're getting into Cream and Hendrix and Blue Cheer and MC5 Stooges, all that stuff. And yeah, this is our what is this? This is our second on Deep Purple. We got 3 on Sabbath. So there you go. I've got an audio podcast as well, History in 5 Songs with Martin Popoff. You can go to martinpopoff.com for all your book needs. I've got the big, massive new. Where is it behind me? That's the box of the Beast edition there of the new Iron Maiden book. Biggest, hugest book I ever did. Big hardcover, 666 pages, 400 pictures. You can see all that at martinpopoff.com. There's full descriptions of everything, PayPal buttons, all that good stuff. And check out our Reliving Old Reviews is a Useless Tool of Confusion episodes as well, where I go through a lot of old reviews of albums, and we critique what's going on there. So there you go. Go listen to some Deep Purple.